Hey! You're listening to an episode of Thorn and Your Side. And I'm your host, C. Thorn. This is the podcast where I talk about information and opinions, both popular and unpopular, related to random topics, both serious and non-serious. And it's good for you to listen because it needs to be said. Also, you already pressed the play button. So tune out the noise, take a break, and prepare to be entertained and informed. I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news is that my favorite guest ever, Lizzie B, she won't be able to make it today. She said there were plenty of errands to complete, and it'll probably take longer than expected. I know. It's both disappointing and unfair, especially since I was looking forward to us continuing our discussion of MTV. She is so funny and knowledgeable, and I hope she's able to complete those errands soon so we can go back to roasting that cringy channel. But I digress. Anyway, the good news is that we're close to another important holiday. You all know what that holiday is, right? Just in case you didn't know, it's almost time for Father's Day. Oh yeah. Just like Mother's Day, it's probably one of the most impactful holidays of the year. It has a lot of importance and significance, so it makes perfect sense to appreciate those men who were there for us during our childhood and adulthood. Now, to everyone out there who celebrates Father's Day, and I guess the people who don't celebrate Father's Day, I don't mean to be a thorn in your side. But Father's Day is one of the best holidays ever. Yeah, you heard me. Out of all the holidays in the year, Father's Day is one of the best. Similar to Mother's Day, Father's Day is the holiday that occurs every year in which people spend time appreciating and honoring their dad. Whether it's your biological dad or a stepdad, it doesn't matter. This is the time when you tell and or show that man that you appreciate him for being part of your life. Another thing that Father's Day has in common with Mother's Day is that it doesn't always happen on a specific date. Instead, it's always on the third Sunday of June, which means the earliest date for Father's Day would be on the 15th, while the latest date for Father's Day will be on the 21st. Either way, everyone should have plenty of time to prepare their methods for showing their dad how much they love and appreciate him. Regardless of how cool or serious your dad might be, I'm sure he's okay with getting gifts, right? Whether it's buying gifts or taking him out to dinner, I'm sure anybody will be okay with that. Along with the gifts and the free food, don't forget to let him know how much you care about him. He'll probably try playing it off, but I bet he'll enjoy all the attention. Even if he has a habit of being stoic, which means he doesn't show much emotions, trust me, he's just trying to keep his cool, especially if there's cameras around. Anyway, if you plan on doing anything special and creative for your dad this month, please have some common sense. Regardless of how much you love and appreciate your dad, I'm quite certain that he doesn't want you to get in trouble for doing something, well, stupid. I doubt your daddy will want to spend his special day bailing you out of jail or even prison. Seriously, don't do anything stupid on Father's Day weekend. I'm sure your daddy don't play around. So making him literally pay for your bad decisions is one way to get on his bad side. But I digress. One thing I noticed over the years is that people seem to think that Father's Day is only for your biological father. And that's not true at all. Not only is it the celebration for your biological father, but it's also a celebration for all the father figures in your life. I'm sure there are plenty of people who grew up not knowing their real dad and was instead raised by their uncle, granddad, older brother, or another male family member. Of course, there are people who grew up with a stepdad or foster dad, which means he's not related to you at all. If the man treated you like his own kid and gave you a great childhood, then who cares if he's not related to you? You were blessed to have a positive male role model while growing up, which is something that some people weren't lucky enough to experience. Yes, he may have gotten on your nerves, but what did you expect? He just wants to know what's going on in your life. It can get pretty annoying at times with all the questions and concerns and criticisms, but that's his way of showing he loves you. It's annoying, but true. Just to remind you, I'm not trying to be a thorn in your side. But Father's Day is a wonderful holiday. It's the time of the year in which we honor the men who were important to us while growing up. Whether they were related to you or not, it doesn't matter. They showcase the same amount of care that any biological father would show to their child, and that's good enough. Also, let's not forget that yo daddy is one of the reasons why you're here right now. Yes, yo mama carried you in her body for about 9 months, but if it wasn't for yo mama and yo daddy playing a fun game, then you wouldn't be living and breathing right now. Oh, the name of that game is something I like to call Stationary Leapfrog. You could say it's the game of life. But I digress. By the way, just like Mother's Day, you don't have to wait until Father's Day to let your dad know how much you appreciate him. Instead, do it throughout the year. If you want to do it every day, then that's even better. You may not be aware of everything he does for you, but you should at least know some of the things he does for you, right? Of course you should. Also, don't be afraid to spend time with him. Yes, you're a grown adult and have your own interests and obligations to deal with, but I bet your dad would still like to spend time with you. After all, he watched you grow up from your toddler years all the way to your current years. So can you blame him? Whether it's going shopping with them or watching TV together, I'm sure our dads enjoy spending time with us no matter how old we get or how old he gets. Another thing to keep in mind is that some people don't have their dad in their lives anymore, which can sometimes be worse than not knowing your dad at all. While you still have the chance, please let him know how much you appreciate him for all the great things he's done for you. There is absolutely no reason for you to ever be ashamed or afraid to let him know how much he means to you, especially since there's a high chance he'd love to hear it. Seriously, I bet it'll make him really happy. So try it. My final point is that if you practically believe that Father's Day is an awesome holiday and is just as important as the other major holidays, including Mother's Day, then you're quite intelligent. Just like our moms, our dads played an important role in our lives by shaping us to become the person we are now. Obviously, that includes all father figures as well. Remember, people, your parents don't have to be related to you to be your parents. As long as they love and care about you, then that's all that matters. All this talk about parents is making me think about my parents. They're such a hilarious duo. And I would say my siblings and I got our funny bone from them. Especially our dad. I don't know how he does it, but he's just so funny. He's the main one making people laugh and is a very animated person. He's definitely not a boring parent, and I would describe him as the life of the party in most situations. Yes, he knows when to get serious, like all fathers do, but he still likes being the comic relief of the family. Of course, even though he likes to laugh and make jokes, he is not a joke. Seriously, in no way is he a joke. Just like my mom, my dad loves helping people. It could be a complete stranger, and my dad would gladly help him or her out with their problems. He just gives off this aura of friendliness that makes him an interesting person to talk to. There are times in which his personality might be too much to handle, but you'll get used to it. Growing up with both my parents was a fun experience, especially since I also had some siblings. I have vivid memories of my dad taking us to the park since that was the hot spot back then. It was fun, and I honestly miss those days of bliss. Those were some good times. Those were the good old days. And I'm glad that I was able to experience them with my family. I'm blessed to say that both my mom and dad have been in my life since my childhood. Not everyone can say that, so it's a blessing that I can say it because it's true. Oh, wait. Technically, they were both in my life since the day or night I was conceived. That's one image I did not want to think about. But I digress. Anyway, just like my mom, my dad was well known among my friends and classmates back in grade school. Whenever we had school plays and other school related events, there's a high chance that he would be there. One thing he liked in particular was the honor roll breakfast. I can't remember if it was in elementary school or middle school, but it was a special breakfast for students who made the honor roll, and they can invite their parents. Since I constantly made good grades in all my classes, my parents and I were able to enjoy this special breakfast each semester, and it was free. Not sure if I said this already, but I like saving money. And what better way to save money than to eat free food just by making good grades? It's a very nice incentive for academic excellence. By the way, there were too many times in which my dad and I went somewhere together and someone asked us if we're brothers. I have to tell them in a nice way that the man next to me is my father, not my brother. I remember one person asking us if we're twins. I'm sure my dad loves hearing that kind of stuff because it's basically a compliment. As the saying goes, black don't crack. Unless you smoke crack. But I digress. Seriously though, my dad is amazing. He's like the evolved form of a superhero because he does so much to help the people around him, and not just his family. Whether it's his co-workers, friends, or church members, it just seems like he's always willing to help others regardless of the circumstances. He could be a guest at a fancy upscale banquet among other distinguished guests. But if someone needs help cleaning up or setting up the furniture, you better believe that my dad won't hesitate to help out. He'll gladly take off his jacket, loosen his tie, and do whatever he can to make sure the event goes smoothly. If he has to literally get his hands dirty, then he'll do it. He's a very inspirational person, and I truly appreciate him for all the things that he does. Everyone, please continue supporting your father. He's been supporting you ever since your younger years, so it's only fair to support him back. He may not directly ask you to support him, but do it anyway because I'm sure it'll make him happy. You like making your parents happy, right? I hope so. Well, I guess there's one thing left to say, regardless of today's date. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Thorn in Your Side. And I'm your host, C. Thorn. Feel free to follow, share, subscribe, react, comment, tweet, post, or whatever. And there'll be another soul-soothing episode next week. And remember, be smart and stay sharp.